Hello everybody, my name is Robert and this is my channel Old Style Classics Baseball Cards, and just giving you a little introduction video into what my channel's about. So anyways, my name is Robert. I live here in the Silicon Valley and the San Jose area, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, and California. I'm a huge Cubs fan. I was born in Chicago, so I follow all Chicago sports teams for the major league sports, except for the White Sox. I'm a big Cubs fan. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks. Before the first grade, we moved from Chicago to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I grew up. Lived for the most part for the next 30 some odd years, 35 years or whatever. And so as far as like college sports and minor league sports, I pretty much always followed the New Mexico teams. Went to school at New Mexico, so I'm a Lobos fan. And I love the Albuquerque Isotopes, the old New Mexico Scorpions, the Duke City Gladiators. Kind of a fan of the New Mexico United. And yeah, so I've always followed all the sports that they did in Albuquerque when they used to have the NBA D-League team there, the Albuquerque Thunderbirds. They were a champion one time. And yeah, then I met my now wife in the first grade when we first moved to New Mexico. She was the first girl I ever liked. Of course, she shot me down way back then, but I knew her all growing up through school. Anyways, back around 2010, I was trying to reach out to a friend of mine who lived in Europe now, and saw her picture as a friend of his on Facebook. These were back in the MySpace days. So I started reaching out to her, and eventually we got to talking, and then I came out here to visit a few times, and then she was like, hey, you should move out here. So right at the end of 2010, basically the last day of that year, I moved from Albuquerque down here to Sunnyvale, California, and a few years later we got married, and so that's how I ended up here. So unfortunately for California people, I'm not a Bay Area sports fan. I'm still always going to be loyal to Chicago, and as far as college sports goes, I'm going to be a New Mexico Lobo fan. But I grew up loving baseball. I just love everything about baseball. My grandpa and, our family, when we were little, they would take us to Wrigley Field to see some games before we moved. And through the years, I'd go back every couple of summers, and we'd go to games. Like 87, went to baseball card day. Growing up, I did play Little League and a bunch of sports, soccer, and all that stuff. But even though I was a Cubs fan, I was always a huge Andre Dawson fan. And then, of course, he ended up on the Cubs. And so I was happy as anything because he's my personal collection. That's who I collect. And so basically, my hobbies are this. I PC collect Andre Dawson cards for the most part. I got a ball, and, wouldn't be opposed to some other Andre Dawson stuff, but I mostly collect cards. And as you can see by the title of this YouTube page, Old Style Classics Baseball Cards is the sister station to my other channel, Rob's TV World. Now, I've been posting stuff on YouTube since probably the mid 2000s. I used to post a lot of videos of concerts and stuff I went to, and talking about stuff, going to the lake with friends, dancing, and all this kind of stuff. Talk about baseball cards and all that. Um, I've had multiple channels. The first two got copyright violations, so I lost those, and those had a lot of concert videos. And those were the days when you could only like post a 10-minute video, and so those pages got wiped out. Then I also had Old Style Classics, just one word, when you used to not be able to put spaces in the title. I used to do that for certain things, like some of the concerts, and me going on trips to concerts and baseball games, and autographs and stuff like that. But I hadn't posted on YouTube for such a long time that I kind of just started putting stuff up on Facebook, because then like the whole public couldn't see it, so it wouldn't get copyrighted. And then eventually I must have left my email address unused for so long that I lost it, or I can't find it anymore, which is what I used Old Style Classics for. So I'm sure the page is still out there with some videos up on there. But I was going to use that page to do my hobbies, but I lost it. But I just found out that YouTube will let me put another page up. So this is the Old Style Classics Revival baseball cards, and other hobbies and pastimes and my ramblings, because my videos do tend to go on a long time. So I just wanted to give you a rundown of the kind of stuff that I would be doing with this channel. My other one, Rob's TV World, will be more for me just talking about stuff in general, and probably more concerts and maybe videos and stuff like that, or just personal stuff. This will be more about my hobbies, the Old Style Classics. And so what it means basically, I'm an Andre Dawson collector, so I always try to collect his cards. I generally like, if I could have anything I want, I like pre-war, like tobacco cards, Cracker Jack, Hogan discs, all that. That's what I feel like baseball cards started as. So that's why I still love any kind of oddball stuff. Growing up in the 80s, I used to be able to get cards in just about anything. Captain Crunch, Burger King, tea, getting your hair cut, just all kinds of stuff. Chef Boyardee. So I love oddball stuff. Even though that stuff doesn't carry a lot of value, I like it because it reminds me of what cards originally were. Unfortunately, you don't see much of that anymore because of the baseball, Tops, Fanatics, Players Association, all that. It's become too expensive. They become too greedy. So now you don't get much product issue stuff. So I will also chase other oddball things. Like nowadays, you might find some stuff that's maybe on some food packaging. Like somebody who's like Mike Trout, he was on soft pretzels, couple different boxes. Those kind of things, like Wheatie boxes, or crackers that have some player or something on that. So I look out for those things, but you really don't see much with sports cards on this stuff anymore. But I do like that oddball kind of stuff, so I'll be talking about that, and I'm going to go into a whole playlist, I guess, of videos about MSA. They're the ones that made all the mostly food issue stuff from the 70s into the early 2000s. Tops did stuff too, and some of the other companies, but MSA, I really love that stuff. A lot of it's really garbage looking, but they're beautiful. I know it sounds weird, but I'll go into all that. Cracker Jack stuff. And so basically, when we went to New Mexico, we actually owned Tasty Freeze, so that's where I got my first taste of baseball cards that I remember. We had some leftover cards from the late 70s, the Tasty Freeze discs from MSA. I still own my first card, which is a Dave Kingman, because he was a Cub. I'll show that someday. And I also, we sold 81 Dunross when they first came out. So I remember getting some of the 81 Dunrosses, which we all know is not a very good set, but I'll go into a lot of 80 stuff. Then when I kind of really got going there, before that, when we were young, we used to collect like Star Wars cards and stuff like that, mid 80s, Robotech cards and comics and stuff like that. So my baseball collecting went in and out, in and out. When I was in Little League, I'd pick stuff up, but Mostly got really going in 87. I love all three sets of Topps, Flair, and Dunrust. They're just beautiful. Um, went a little overboard that year. Started to lessen up as I got older, into the early 90s. Kind of, you knew that stuff wasn't very expensive. And so I kind of got out of it until maybe the mid 2000s, 2005, around there. Pulled my first autograph. I would pick a pack up here and there through the years, just, kind of hedge my bet. But then I pulled a Jacoby Ellsbury autograph out of Bowman, the Future signs. Then TNA Wrestling had the knockout blasters, and you'd get an autograph in those. I bought a bunch of those. And then the next year, my favorite set came out of basically regular cards, and that's Allen and Ginter from Topps. And I just love any kind of old school looking cards because all the shiny stuff and all the, it just got really bland. I think in the 90s, everyone was kind of just following what everyone else was doing. And then Allen and Ginter came out. I was just blown away. I love mini cards. I love all the weird stuff they do. I know a lot of people don't get it. But, these people need to do a little research on cards, to understand what the original Allen and Ginter and all those tobacco cards were about. It was just about random different things. And so, right now, one of my goals is, obviously to collect any Andre Dawsons that come in Allen and Ginter, and I'm trying to do a rainbow on the 2020s. But Allen and Ginter's got so much different stuff, so much crazy stuff out there. Not just all the cards that you can normally get, just the base stuff and the insert sets. But they have rare stuff too, online exclusives, wrestling cards that is only available in WWE Heritage. NFL had a few insert sets, or at least they did around 2010. National Convention cards, like the DNA cards, the 101s, the cut signatures, box loader relics, box loader autographs, book cards, N43s, mini variations, complete sets like red border exclusives, the exclusives to the binder, all kinds of stuff. And so one of my goals is to try to get as many different kind of cards that Allen and Ginter did. It doesn't have to be really hard to get, but usually what I'm kind of leaning towards is stuff that you normally couldn't just pick up, because early on I couldn't afford a whole lot of that stuff. I wasn't buying hobby boxes or stuff. I was getting blasters or packs here and there. But I love it. I love the mini cards. That's my favorite thing. I don't want them to go away. So it does bother me when people are trying to get that stuff to go away. But anyway, so, I've got printing plate, I've got cloth card, I've got 101s, I've got autographs, box loaders, all this kind of stuff. Triple rip cards. I actually did my first rip recently, and I got my first stained glass. So this kind of stuff. And so 2006 is still my favorite set. My white whale chase card was always the Danica Patrick mini framed autograph, which I was never able to get, and I'm a hunter. So I'm usually not the kind of guy that just wanted to order stuff just to get it. But now that stuff is so far in the past, you can't find it anymore, and it's ridiculous, and there's no way you'd know if you'd ever pull that card. So I went out and bought the next best thing, which was like the Danica Patrick 10th anniversary. So she did 100 more in 2015. So I went out and got that. But I do have something related coming in. It'll be on one of my future videos here. So that was always my own Ginter white whale. But now she also does have a 101 postcard from that first set of that was the box loaders, was the postcard. And then they did have 15 people do a one-on-one. And so she has 100 autographs from that 2006 mini set, mini framed, and then the one-on-one, which has never showed up. So that would also be like a super white whale. So some of the other things I kind of chase after is, so here's an example of some of the odd things that I got from Allen and Ginter. You got the original rip card that they sent out to like hobby stores and stuff to show people what Allen and Ginter was going to be and what a rip card actually was. So the original rip card had Alex Rodriguez on it, and then I bought two of them. One's unripped, and then the other one is ripped, but the guy never pulled the card out of there, and they all came with the Mickey Mantle. I was originally going to pull that out to display, but my wife said, "Oh, since it's never been pulled out, just get the Mickey Mantle." So I got the Mickey Mantle. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So that's an original rip card, and it's kind of the progression of what it is. So I'll be talking a lot about Allen and Ginter and Andre Dawson and stuff that I pull. My other hobbies, obviously, I love concerts. I love going to sporting events. I'm a big hard rock fan, rock and roll in general, country music. I like classical. I don't mind going to symphonies and plays and stuff. I think I'm at about 590 concerts that I've been to, and I would say about 2/3 of those I've gotten my ticket stubs signed. That was always my other, probably even my biggest collecting thing has always been ticket stubs for events and concerts and stuff. So that's why I got my Fleetwood Mac Rumors live little LP pad to kind of keep stuff from sliding around on here. Sometimes I'll do this side, and then sometimes I'll do that. It just depends which way the cards look better. But I'm just showing you kind of what I'm interested in. And so I've always been a ticket stub collector, and I've always tried to get them signed. And so I have a ton of that. I'll go into a whole series about that stuff. I do get other things signed. I got a bunch of autograph books here, CDs and records. And I like meeting celebrities and getting autographs from them in person and meeting them and stuff like that. So example, one of the, my ticket stub collection, and I have met a president, so we'll get into that someday. And recently, I met Debbie Gibson at a concert here in California, and this summer. And when she first came out, I was just really getting Led Zeppelin and all that kind of stuff at the time. But then I was walking out the door, heard her singing, and looked at her, and I was just like head over heels. I was just going into high school. So it took 30 some years, and I finally got to see her full in concert and went out back. She came out, and I met her and talked to her for a few minutes, and she was super sweet. I was a little starstruck. She signed my ticket stub, and we chit-chatted and took some pictures. So I got plenty of stories about how I've got tons and tons of ticket stubs, signed by bands. So that's something I'll go into someday. And, just real quick, some of the other stuff that I like to pick up. I've got like this original cell sheet from the 2006 original Allen and Ginter set, where they were showing you what Allen and Ginter was all about. So I've only seen like one other person with these. Then I went out recently and picked up this 2007, and same thing. And so I got that. Then recently I have picked up my first tobacco cards. I picked these up at the San Jose Card Show. These are some 1908 Ogden's Wrestlers from their tobacco brand. They're really good shape. I got these two for $15. And so those were the oldest cards I had up to that point in time. So like I said, I love all the product issue stuff. And at that same show, I picked up my first T206, which is a Doc Atkins. So this is just recent months. It's pretty beat up, but it's cool to have. And since my favorite set is Allen and Ginter's, I had to get me original Allen and Ginter. So this is a wrestler, and that is W.M. Muldoon. And so I picked this up, 1887. There's your list of baseball players. So I'm going to be talking about this kind of stuff too. I don't do like super collecting like on T206 or anything. And I don't do a whole lot of graded. I think I only have 3 graded cards just because they were there. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll pick that up. So anyways, on this channel, I'm going to go ahead and talk about cards, the kind of stuff that I like. I do tend to go on for a long time. And, you know, I'll do some pack openings and show you my binders, Andre Dawson collection, other stuff, oddball stuff that I have. And so that's just a kind of basic rundown of what I'm going to be doing. And so I hope you enjoy my channel. I often have to do this in the middle of the night, so I do talk a little quieter and I don't get all up and excited, so I might be a little you know, monotone sometimes, like but that's because I'm trying not to wake people up, and this is when I get a time to do this. And as far as like, hey, if you want to comment and, you know, have discussions and all that, please feel free to do that in the comments and all that. I'll try to keep them all in playlists, like stuff that's specific more towards Allen and Ginter. Then maybe I'll make a playlist that's more about Andre Dawson, and then like concert tickets or concerts and or other things, or maybe specifics for card openings, and then like maybe eBay mail days and stuff like that, so that it's easier to find this stuff. My videos have been around an hour long recently, so eventually I'll get those down, but I don't want to just rush through stuff. I want to talk about these things. I want to explain what I like about them and maybe start a discussion with y'all. So also, one of the other things too is with my job is certain times of the year, or we don't have a whole lot to do, so I have a lot of time to do this kind of stuff. But then other times of the year, we're busy for like 5 weeks straight, like nonstop, like every day. That happens a couple times a year, at least every other year. And so those times I probably won't get to do a lot of responding or discussing and stuff like that, or I might not post for a while. So just to give you a heads up on that kind of stuff. And I was going to show a little bit more, but I'm already going on a little too long. So yeah, that's basically kind of what my channel is going to be about. I hope you enjoy it, and you know, look forward to talking with all you people. And you know, we'll be talking about classic, you know, the old style classics baseball cards. Doesn't mean they have to be old. They just, you know, I prefer the old style cards. So, you know, Allen Ginter, new cards, but an old fashioned kind of card. You know, just like Gypsy Queen and Topps 206 and early Goodwin Champions. You know, I like all that stuff. Helmar Brewing, you know, and, you know, I'll talk about some other collectibles, baseballs that I have signed and stuff like that, players that I met, different things. Could be wrestling, it could be anything. I do often make mistakes, like I just made a video tonight where I was looking at a Lou Brock card for the 2023 Allen Ginter that just came out the other day. And I was talking about Bob Gibson the other day when I seen him, and then I was repeating myself. I didn't pay attention. It was Lou Brock, so I will make mistakes, and I try to review my videos and then correct myself in the next videos or something like that. So be kind. I'm not trying to misspeak. I might just miss something. All right. So anyways, once again, my name is Robert. Originally from Rob's TV World and old style classics, and it used to be the small top and the big top, and Now my new page is Old Style Classics Baseball Cards. I hope you enjoy it, and if you like a little longer version videos where people are actually talking about stuff more than just zip, 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 then you might like this. And hey, I hope you like this, and check out my stuff. Oh, I did record like 20 videos in the last like month, but I hadn't posted them yet because I didn't decide what I was going to do with the YouTube page. And then I was trying to transfer the stuff over to external hard drive, and I think I lost 12 of them. Hopefully tomorrow when the recovery company calls me, I might be able to recover those videos. But if not, some of my stuff may seem a little out of place, like I'm missing something, or you missed an episode. Well, that's why. So the minute I get that stuff back, I'll post those. But probably what I'll do is I'll just post this and everything up to that point, and then I'll try to wait and then upload those things before I post my latest videos that I've done. Once again, I'm super excited. 2023 Allen and Ginter just came out a couple days ago. Already broke a box and a half of that video, so those will be up maybe in a day or two, or maybe a week. And I just hope you enjoy this journey with me. So y'all take care. And I got a couple videos from 2013 left over that I found that I'm gonna go ahead and post, and that'll be my earliest ones, but that'll probably be the shortest ones you'll ever see from me. All right, y'all, take care.